This is Zaini Kadir, a 19-year-old Ethiopian from the village of Sero, 125 miles south of Addis Ababa. Her father's 1.5-hectare cropland yields barely enough to keep the family alive. So last year, Zaini left home, joining a growing number of migrant women seeking work as maids overseas. Her destination? Saudi Arabia. Nearly 160,000 Ethiopian women went to work in the Saudi kingdom in the year to July, a 10-fold jump on the previous 12 months. The United Nations says tens of thousands more go illegally, lured by foreign wages, a means of supplementing their families' meager incomes. But for Zaini, the escape route out of poverty didn't go to plan. After 3 months, she returned home. She'd suffered beatings, was threatened with a knife, and was denied wages.
First of all, it's important to know how reliant most Saudi households are on domestic workers. Almost every household has a woman from Indonesia, Ethiopia, the Philippines, living and working in their home. We've documented a range of abuses. It's very common that women are often working from morning till night, 16 to 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Many cases of unpaid wages, cases of forced confinement in the workplace, and in some cases, sexual and physical abuse.
Bloomberg spoke to one Ethiopian woman who said she was raped repeatedly by her Saudi employer. Many are uninformed or undeterred by the potential risks, making Ethiopia an easy target for cheap labor.
Some of the governments from countries that send domestic workers to Saudi Arabia have started to complain. And we've seen that the most prominently from the Philippines and Indonesia, where they faced a lot of pressure from civil society at home, from very bad media coverage, asking them to protect the Filipino workers in Saudi Arabia, to protect the Indonesian women who are working in Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia hasn't liked this. So instead, they are starting to turn to countries that don't have strong labor protections, that don't have governments that are willing to speak out on behalf of their citizens' rights. And what we're starting to see are more domestic workers being recruited from countries like Ethiopia, Nepal, Bangladesh, Kenya. And these women are much less prepared, and they have much less access to services and to help if they do face abuse.
In Ethiopia, more than 3/4 of the population lives on less than $2 a day. Lack of opportunity means that even teenagers migrate, despite the risks. To prepare them for their new life, Ethiopia's labor ministry offers a pre-departure course. Rashida Hadish, a researcher on women's issues, attended a presentation in July.
It was 3 hours, and the beginning was just a man basically telling the women what would happen when they go abroad, and then the other half was a video. And they were told to stay away from men. They were told what to take when they were going abroad. If they didn't have a new suitcase, that they should spray their old one with perfume so it would smell nice. That they shouldn't put an Ethiopian hair lotion because the Arab people don't like the smell of it. They were told that toothpaste is not face cream. It was helpful, but it wasn't adequate.
For now, Zaini is relieved to be home. But her family, who borrowed the money for her flight to Saudi Arabia, want her to go overseas once more. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia faces growing condemnation for its treatment of migrant domestics. Earlier this month, a Sri Lankan housemaid was beheaded after being convicted of killing a baby. Amnesty International says the woman, who denied the murder, had no lawyer at her trial. The oil-rich kingdom's treatment of foreign workers even has critics within its own royal family. Princess Basma bint Saud is the 115th and youngest child of the late King Saud. She says a distorted reading of the Quran is to blame for the mistreatment of domestic staff and women in her country.
Misinterpretation of our religion to serve intentions and purposes of the beholder. of men.
Yes, and governments. The basic law is that everybody is equal, whether you're a migrant, whether you are Saudi, whether you are yellow, whether you're red or blue or black, whether you are a Christian, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Shia, whether you are a Sunni, you have the same rights while you are on the soil of the Saudi Arabian, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
That's not currently the case.
No, it's not.
Saudi Arabia's government declined to comment for this story. Zaini's plight may not be over. Eric Coleman, Bloomberg News.